Hi. All right, starting a live video live. Imagine that. My name is Dr. Cheryl Meier, and I am a psychologist and a life coach. And today I was going to talk about, let's see why it's all foggy. Let's see. There. I'm down by the ocean. It's a little muggy today. So I'm going to talk about, well, I'm here. Let's see. I'm here to talk about my master class, but I want to just give something away today during this live. I'm going to go live for 20 minutes or so today, depending on who shows up, if they have questions and stuff. So I've been teaching this class for over 6 months now. You can either sign up for a 3-month class or a year long. It's a year long, and it's on Eckhart Tolle's book called The Power of Now. We're going through it. I'm taking people through it as a psychologist, and we have a private Facebook group. But basically, if you've been heartbroken or something, this whole past year has been awakening a lot of people and getting them in a place of more awareness of your intuition, because you've got in a more quiet place. So a lot of things have been surfacing, and I wanted to move how I do psychology in a different direction so that I can be present and help people from this place. From this place that they're in right now, that our world is going through. Let me move over here, and the ocean is right over there behind me. So take a second now. If you came across this, you came across it for a reason. Don't worry about my class. Like, just let's get the lesson here, because I want to give this away. It's just take a step back from all your activities that are going on around you, or whatever is around you, and what's coming to mind is, like, if you think of Santa Claus, let's say, you think of what do you think of when you hear about Santa Claus? Or if you think of a dog, what images, or a specific dog, one of your, like, let's say your first dog. I'm gonna just sit here. So if you think of Santa Claus, you get all these good feelings about this guy that brings presents to kids and waiting up for him, if you had Santa Claus in your life. If not, just think of someone that had a strong impact like that on you in your childhood, something magical, like I loved the Narnia books. So if you think of him, it's like a rose by any other name would smell just as sweet. It's like if you take away his name, you still get this whole essence of who he is. Well, when you get in the power of now, you start understanding your own essence-ness. You understand you're not just your mind. You are a soul living in a body. Taylor Chardin says we're not physical beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. So if your soul is wanting you to be here, and you're here for a reason, and if you keep experiencing pain from life situations, and hello, welcome. If you keep experiencing pain from life situations, and you keep identifying with your mind, it doesn't tell me who's here, so just feel free to comment if you have any questions while I'm doing this live. If you have, so you are your essence. And so again, like if you think of your grandmother or something like that, or your grandfather, like you don't even have to know what their name is. You remember their essence and that good feeling you had with them. So what I teach people how to do is to awaken your own intuition and to start learning who you are more than just your name, more than, and who everyone else is. And so the first chapter in The Power of Now says you are not your mind. And so that's what I was going to teach about today, is just understanding just be present. When you get present in your senses, and in your body, ground yourself in your body. Oh yeah, here, I'll show you my little dog. Oh, now it's telling me to rotate my phone. All right. If you ground yourself in your body, it helps you become more aware of your deeper nature. So I have my doctorate and I went to school for forever, and it's really easy to get caught up in your mind and your idea of your present day personality, like who I am right now as Cheryl, as Dr. Cheryl Meier, as whatever. And our mind is like this, okay? So our mind is like this. I do this a lot in my YouTube videos. Is your mind is like this, and your soul is like this thing behind. And so even if we do, our mind is like this rock, because I'm holding this phone, let's see. And your soul is like this big thing. And so your mind doesn't understand about the cosmos and about the bigger picture and about our essence and everything like that. It insists we're just this. So this is out of its understanding. So when Christ teaches us, I give you a peace that passes all understanding, it really means that. He is teaching us about a higher level of consciousness that passes your mind understanding. But as long as you identify yourself as your mind, then you keep giving yourself the limitations of that. You think, I'm only my mind. So back to Santa Claus, if you think of who is this soul that acted as Saint Nicholas, that we celebrate still as this jolly man that brings presents to people, because he did bring presents to people. His nature as a person was very much like what people celebrate still, you know, and they're celebrating his essence and they're keeping his essence alive, you know. And just like one of my friends was this musician, Elliot Smith. And it's so weird because as I still hear his music sometimes I can't listen to it because he's passed away and it's too hard. But as I hear it, it's like all this essence of his soulness wakes up again for what I knew before, how I experienced him before in my life. And it's like in music, sometimes we get that, look at the word music, muse, like a muse, you're inspired, inspiration. So sometimes I still get that feeling of his soul, you know? And so our souls are calling us to wake up to our deeper nature. And they call us through pain, oftentimes. So what I've been seeing a lot lately is people experiencing a lot of pain and waking up and coming into new understandings of who they really are. Am I just this personality self, you know? Or what am I now without my job? Because a lot of people were out of their jobs or their jobs had to shift. And there's just a lot of awakenings that are going up. So I wanted to be present and offer all the knowledge that I've gained of 20 years more of being a psychologist and following my own intuition and teaching other people how to follow their passions and live passionately. Oh my gosh, I ought to do one of these on my roller skates because I just come alive on my roller skates. I love it because they've found that when you roller skate, it gets you into a meditative state, and I could meditate all day long because it's so important in our lives. And so I think the thing about Santa Claus was coming up because he has such a spirit of joyousness, and you can tell that his essence is more than just his name, more than just his present personality. Like, there's something in that person, there's something in you that lives on. And so back to, if your mind, let's say, is this rock, and your soul and your intuition are like this, then this part of you has so much more information to give you and to direct you. It's like if one part of you can see from the 100th floor and one part of you is just seeing from the 3rd floor in the 3D. Then this part of you can direct you and guide you into the strangest places, but into so much more happiness and growth and awakening all of your capacities. I'm all about people awakening all their capacities. This is what I found in traditional psychology. Now, some people, if the psychologist or hey, there's a dog. If the psychologist or therapist is more aware of this, of our transcendent nature, then they'll get into this. But if they're not, then sometimes what Eckhart Tolle talks about is we have a pain body that develops from the pain from our childhood. And we can be so identified as the victim or the aggressor with our pain that we get caught in a loop. And you can go into therapy and just talk about how much I'm a victim and how much pain I'm in, and just get stuck in that and actually reinforce that part of yourself. And yes, everybody else is attacking you. Now, a lot of therapy will actually help give you insight and let go of limiting beliefs and shift. But some of it it's important that you're careful, because some of it feels good in the immediate because it's just reinforcing that I'm a victim and they're all bad, they need to change. Or this part of your mind again, let's see where I put your mind, our minds. Put that rock down, we'll get a different mind. Is our minds will say, I have this problem, let's stay in here and focus on this problem and keep going over this problem and keep going over this problem. And it loves that. It loves that because it has something to do all the time. But your soul is like, no. Like, let's awaken to this deeper aspect of yourself. Let's one of my friends said, instead of 5G, we need 5D. It's like awakening. If you look at the words of Christ, once you start understanding some of this stuff, he's always teaching us. He's teaching on many different levels, but if he was highly conscious, and he was, even if you're not a Christian or anything like that, you can look at if you go to a hotel and there's letters in red, or a Bible that has the letters in red, you see the words of Christ. He's always teaching about higher consciousness. Bob Marley, he said all of his songs are teaching about higher consciousness. The mystics, they teach about higher consciousness, which again, if you're living life on the 3rd floor of a building versus living life from the 100th floor, you're going to have a richer life. You're going to have a more content life. You're going to have a more joyous life. You're going to know how to follow your passions and do those diligently and well and enjoy doing it. And it's scarier. It takes a lot of courage to learn how to do this. But this is why I created this community and this course, for us to go through it together. And I am a support system through that. Let me see what time it is, because I was going to do this for 20 minutes, but I'm not seeing the time, and I don't know if this, let's see. Maybe I'll ask. Let's see. Leia. All right. Because I set aside the 20 minutes so I could just be here and talk to you guys. But this is like a the preliminary, because I'm going to do this again in 2 weeks on a big way. But I only want committed people at this point, and people that come to this. If your intuition brought you this, it's very strange that it came to you, because I'm not. Hi. Hello. Oh, do you know the time?
10:16.
Okay, good. I'm on a live, but I can't see the clock. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, so, all right, I can gauge that. I only want people that are committed to this inner path, this spiritual growth, spiritual expansion, understanding yourself on a much deeper level, and learning how to awaken your intuition. That's what I was saying. If your intuition brought you here, it's weird because I'm not paying for any ads or anything like that right now. It's just I'm stepping out in a way that my own intuition told me to step out, and it's so strange because I'm so, you know, I got my doctorate a long time ago and went to school for 9 years and blah 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 blah, and I've been practicing this forever. So my left brain is like, what are you doing? You need to do this in a logical, methodical way, and I have studied a lot of that stuff too, but the most important thing today is know you are not your mind. Your mind wants to convince you that that's all you are, because that's all it knows. It can't comprehend the something greater. And something greater than that is calling you all the time. If you think of like the story of Adam, you know, made out of the earth, and then Eve pulled out of the side of Adam. You know, I read a bunch of Torah commentaries and saying that it's not the rib, it's out of his side. So half of Adam was Eve, and she got pulled out of that. And then it's like the breath of God goes in that. We're made in the image and likeness of the divine. So we are like divine ones. We're like, Leia, it's okay. She's wagging her tail. So, I know, she's fierce. So we're like divine ones, and you are a soul in a human body, and as long as you identify that you are only your mind and you're only your present day problems, then you're going to be caught up with that. I love Eckhart Tolle says, and then your mind takes all of your energy, if you have prana or whatever you want to call it, chi or life force, your energy, your mind takes it all and uses it all as mind stuff. And so there's esoteric mystic Christians that have written about this very, very, very deeply. There's one guy named Maurice Nicole, Dr. Maurice Nicole, and he says we are like an acorn seed. All right, so listen to this part. I know it looks like this is just whimsical and everything, but this is information that can change your whole life. All right, is we're like an acorn seed, and you have all the potential to be a giant acorn tree and have all this fruit. You know, Jesus says, I am the vine and you are the branches. He who abides in me, lives in me, this active faith, understanding these deep things, and it's active in your life, not just I go to a church once a week or something and I check off a box that I'm religious, or even if people are just spiritual or whatever, sometimes they're more connected to the life of Christ that's living in them, you know, and it doesn't have to be that religion, but it's just like you're like an acorn seed. And so you have this potential to be this giant tree, and for fruit to come off of you, you know, and you to be fruitful. And so many people, they think that they are already that tree, and really you're just staying as an acorn, because your life energy has to be activated for you to be born again as this tree, as grown up, as something different than what you are. The word repentance is metanoia. It's a metamorphosis of your nous. That's the Greek word, your nous, N-O-U-S. Like there's a metamorphosis that has to take place where you are one thing and you change into this other thing. And so many people are living as this acorn seed, and this higher part of you is hardly being awakened and hardly even known by you. And so that's it. Like my life calling, it's I help people navigate through their spiritual awakening, and that's what I'm here to do, and I'm here to serve in that capacity. So if you have any questions, message me, or follow me on Instagram, Dr. Cheryl Meier, my same name. That's what I am on Instagram, and DM me. And I'll answer any questions you have about this.
There's no bikes.
And then,
There's no bikes anywhere.
and then we'll go from there. All right. I wish you so much love. I'm so glad to be here. I plan to be on Instagram tomorrow live at 10 a.m. Pacific, if you want to join me there for that live. And YouTube live. I have a YouTube channel on Wednesday at 10. All right. Much love.